What's going on, guys? I'm Tyler, and I'm here to let you know that Black is King is no perfect movie. And the official story for Black is King is there's this young prince who, for various circumstances, finds himself lost in a part of Africa that he's not familiar with. But he becomes so quickly adjusted to this new environment that he forgets about his past, his cultural heritage, and it conflicts him as an adult to the point where he decides to go back home, take the new things that he's learned about life, and rediscover the old things so that he can take his rightful place as king. Haven't heard that story before, have you? Now, this movie is actually based off of an album that Beyoncé made for The Lion King called The Gift, where she takes overall themes and messages from the remake of the movie and sets them to different R&B, hip hop, and Afrobeat songs made by herself, Jay-Z, Pharrell, Gambino, so many other talented and relatively unknown musical artists. Obviously, backdrops the story in African countries such as Ghana and Nigeria, and presents an underlying theme that she believes is prevalent in the movie and today. The idea that we need to preserve Black history and African culture as a way to preserve one's self worth and develop a future legacy. It's all about how history is just as, if not more important, to one person's present and future. That was a theme that really stuck with me as I was watching this movie. And I love how, even if you're not a part of the culture that's being represented on screen, you can still identify with the visuals, the characters that this movie is portraying. And that's really important with movies like this because we've seen stuff like this before. Michael Jackson had Moonwalker, Prince had Purple Rain, Pink Floyd had The Wall. Beyonce herself has done this before. She and many others directed this one movie for HBO called Lemonade, which is based off of her album. It came out in 2016. It was all about a group of songs and visuals that had black feminist undertones, and people really seemed to enjoy it. I actually saw it on a couple people's best of the year lists in 2016, and I thought that was really interesting. I didn't think that Beyonce was that ambitious and artistic in her work because it's been a really long time since I've listened to a Beyonce song. I think the last time I listened to one of hers was her and Gambino's cover to Can You Feel the Love Tonight, which was good when she wasn't taking deep breaths into the microphone in between lines. That got really annoying. But I will say this, for movies like Moonwalker, Purple Rain, The Wall, none of them have ever been filmed on such a large and humongous scope, and I cannot believe that Disney Plus let anyone make a movie like this. I'm starting to wonder if it's really because Beyonce is one of the most best-selling music artists of all time, but it's a really good thing that she treats the visuals in this movie just as, if not more important than the songs, because the direction and the cinematography by herself and the other music video directors that she hired really pays off. The direction is top notch. I love the way Africa looks in this movie. It looks massive. It looks bright, beautiful, breathtaking shots of the wilderness and of the African suburbs. Because, yes, Africa does have suburbs. You have to be a complete idiot not to know that. And there were so many different directing techniques that are commonplace in music videos, but in average movies and TV shows are almost unheard of and are never utilized today. And it's great to see Beyonce use every single directing technique to its potential. There are some Dutch angles that make you feel really uneasy with how surreal the imagery is supposed to be. There are a few recurring techniques that I really love, especially where sometimes a shot will start off with one particular character, but as it moves in a different direction, mainly towards the right, the camera pans alongside her, and with that pan, it reveals a set of characters in a brand new location within that exact same shot. There are so many times where it does this in order to build up this sense of mystery and wonder because you never know what's going to appear on screen next. And I think the main message for a shot like that is to say about one particular person, there are other people out there who have experienced your pain and past experiences, but they have found a way to cope with it. They found a way to thrive. The only way you can find those people is if you take a few steps and you try to meet those people firsthand for yourself, as opposed to standing around wondering what the world is going to be like. There's another one that really stood out because with all the aspect ratio changes in this movie, it's really hard not to ignore, where it will present one shot from a standard coverage perspective where it's HD, it's in widescreen, and then it will cut to a POV shot that's presented in 4:3 and what appears to be very grainy 16 millimeter footage, and then it will cut right back to the HD widescreen. And I think it was to blur the line between present day and past, because at the end of the day, everything that happens within the present will eventually become the past. It will become a memory that is yours to hold on to. I really love that technique. I love how stylistic Beyoncé and these other directors are with their artistic vision. I love the way Beyoncé portrays how the past, the present, and the future are equally vital to one person's individual success by creating all of these surreal visuals that present older fashion choices, technology, cultural phenomenon, and mixing them with newer, more advanced forms of technology, clothing, and dance choreography, music, obviously. One of the shots, in my opinion, that really sells the themes of the movie is this married couple who is riding a horse in the middle of a parking garage. You have older technology mixed with new. The couple's clothing has a mixture of modern day suits with older fashioned, or in some cases, still relevant hairstyles that really make you wonder what type of time periods all of these items take place in. And it really makes you want to set out and do your own research on what kind of culture this is. What were some of their spiritual beliefs? There are so many questions that this movie raises, and depends on you to seek out the answers for yourself. And I really love that about a movie. Again, it's great that anybody got to make this movie, but visuals aside, story aside, what really sells it is the overall music of the film. Because if you have seen movies like Moonwalker or The Wall and you didn't like how artsy it was, it's going to depend on the music and the overall themes of the music in order to maintain interest in the movie. And not gonna lie, I'm not really a casual hip-hop fan, so there are certain songs that, even though the lyrics and the music itself appropriately fits the visuals and the story within each sequence, there are some songs that to me feel so similar in their composition that some of them felt repetitive, and it made some of the sequences that they take place in feel longer than they were, which is something that I was a little bit disappointed by. But that being said, this is a flaw that it's going to depend on certain people. If you're a big hip-hop fan, if you love Beyoncé as a musical artist, that problem's not really going to faze you. And I'll be honest, as I re-listened to some of the songs in preparation for this video, I started to pay closer attention to the lyrics, and I started to really put two and two together what each image was supposed to mean as someone was singing one of their lines. So it might actually be just a first viewing problem and might even get better upon rewatch. And even though some songs felt better than others, the songs that are really good are absolutely worth watching just to listen to them, just to hear them as you're watching this surreal imagery and draw your own conclusions. Bigger is such a fantastic opening number. I love how everything starts off slow and low-key with the R&B music and Beyonce's very soft vocals, and then it builds and builds as the visuals become grander and the themes become just so fully well realized through the direction and for Beyonce's musical performances. Same with Find Your Way Back. I thought that was a really great follow-up. It was a nice ease from R&B into the hip-hop and Afrobeat. Out of all the collaborations that didn't really have Beyonce's involvement, Don't Jealous Me was a very interesting song, and I'm gonna try and get these guys' names right because I've never heard of them before, but they were really good rap artists. Let's see here. Techno, Yemi Aladi. Somebody let me know in the comments below. And Mr. Easy. Their vocals were very fast-paced. I love how it mixes in English and African languages, sometimes even in the exact same sentence. And the visuals where one guy has a live python on him as he's singing to this young kid in this very shitty-looking garage, it was one of the most unsettling musical numbers just based on the visuals and the music combined. And out of all the collaborations where Beyoncé does sing with someone, I really enjoyed Water, where she sings it with Pharrell as a duet. I love the set that Pharrell is on, where it's this blue brick wall in this vast open African landscape that looks beautiful. I love the set that Beyonce's on. Everything is so bright and colorful. As movies become less colorful and more gray. It's great to see music video directing on the big screen because they never sacrifice how bright and vibrant their colors are. They never sacrifice on great choreography, which mostly takes place in the third act of the movie, but it is still really well done. It's a nice blend of casual dancing versus this very upscale choreography that only the best dancers in the world could fully realize. So there's a lot to really love about Black is King. There are some things that might detract from some people. If you don't like experimental musical movies like Moonwalker, Purple Rain, or The Wall, it's really going to depend on how much you love Beyonce's music and how much you can identify with the culture that's being portrayed on screen, even if it's not necessarily your own culture. And it's so well realized that even if you've never heard of any of these things before, even if you've never seen any of these things before, if you pay very close attention to the music, the visuals, the performances that each actor is giving on screen, and of course the amazing and stunning direction and cinematography, you're going to have a really good time with it. And it's going to leave you with some questions that you're going to have to seek out the answers by yourself. And I love that about a movie. Disney does not get that much credit with making movies like this. In fact, it's probably their most experimental film they've ever made since Fantasia 2000. So, needless to say, I had a really good time with it, and I hope that Disney Plus makes more movies like this in the future. So, for all those reasons, I'm going to give Black is King a 4 out of 5. Guys, thanks as always for watching. If you have seen Black is King, let me know in the comments below what you thought. And let me know what you thought of Lemonade, because I haven't actually seen it yet. Having seen this, I definitely want to check it out, especially because it's on HBO when she can get away with more stuff. In fact, I'm surprised with the stuff that she got away with in this movie, because there are some costumes and some settings that are not Disney by any means. So, who would have thought Beyonce would remake The Lion King a hell of a lot better than Jon Favreau? I wouldn't have guessed. Thanks as always for watching. Let me know in the comments what your thoughts are. Be sure to stay tuned for more Studio Ghibli reviews. I know I keep saying that, but I am going to finish it. And be sure to like and subscribe. Take care.